Baris, thank you very much and welcome to Trade Finance Talks TV.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Glad to be here.
So welcome to Bristol, and for our viewers it'd be great to have a bit of an introduction to you and your role, so please.
Sure. Baris Kalay. I am Head of Trade and Supply Chain Finance for Europe, Middle East and Africa for Bank of America. I've been with the bank for 10 years. I've been in trade finance and banking industry slightly over 20 years now. And before joining Bank of America, I worked in a number of financial institutions in Turkey, Russia and the Netherlands.
Wow, so a huge wealth of experience, and you truly have probably seen the evolution of supply chain finance right from kind of when it started. So let's talk about the digitalisation of supply chain finance, and I think it's very easy to talk about it at a high level, so I'm going to kind of quiz you on the details. So how has the pandemic kind of accelerated the digital transformation of supply chain finance, and what have you seen from your perspective?
I think the key word in the question is accelerated, because trade finance, supply chain finance industry was working on a number of digitization ideas, a number of digitization initiatives well before COVID. But after COVID, all these initiatives have become a necessity. In other words, COVID pressed the accelerate button, and there was absolutely no choice other than executing on these ideas and initiatives in terms of digitization.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. But let's say that now we're kind of going to a place where we can meet physically, we can accept documents, we can accept them digitally, or we could accept them physically now. Do you think we're at a bit of an inflection point, and is there a risk of kind of going back to those new norms?
I think not. I think after COVID, both banks and corporates now know that this is working. Digitization is there, technology there, and it is working. Even for simple things like e-signatures, I don't remember what was the last time that I signed a document physically, and I really enjoy it. It's very fast and efficient, so I think there is no turning back.
Brilliant, and we had some great conversations with Sarah Green at the English Law Commission earlier about that. So what ways has technology actually improved the customer experience for some of your corporates from both a Bank of America perspective and also from an industry perspective?
Yeah, I think we can talk about a number of things here, but I think the main improvement is in how we interact with our customers and how digitization helped on that. Thanks to digitization, now onboarding is simpler, faster. Again, thanks to digitization, we can now provide a lot of reporting to our clients through the channels with one click. And thanks to digitization, we are able to reduce the paper, which is also good for the environment. So all of these technologies, all of these efforts improve the client experience. But maybe one more addition to this. Again, the things that I mentioned also decreases the time to access financing, both for our clients and suppliers, which also improves the working capital benefits. So it is beyond the customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you talk about some of the Bank of America supply chain finance initiatives that have perhaps benefited from digitalization, and can you perhaps give any examples?
Absolutely. So the first one is e-signatures. Very simple, but very, very efficient. We can now accept e-signatures in 40 jurisdictions, more than 40 jurisdictions. And again, from issuance to contract amendments to contract executions, we can execute this digitally, which is a huge plus. The second one is our supplier onboarding portal. We launched a supplier onboarding portal where our buyers, supply chain finance clients, can upload their spend and supplier data and get very good detailed real-time analysis. The third one is APIs. In addition to our traditional channels in terms of connecting with our clients like file upload, host-to-host connection, we can now contact with our clients through APIs. This will mean two things. Number one, shortened technical integration at the beginning of the supply chain finance programs, and also our clients are now able to get real-time reporting on the status of the invoices. And maybe the fourth one is our partnership with Marco Polo. We were the first US bank to join the consortium in 2019. And with Marco Polo, we are working to use the blockchain technology in terms of integrating it to supply chain finance, receivable finance, and how we can enlarge our supplier reach.
Thank you very much, Baris. And I think there's some really clear themes there. You have the e-signatures and there's a whole legal framework and there's a path there in terms of accepting the documents. You've got the supplier onboarding, which is really important from a customer perspective. And I always use the synergy of I've got my mobile phone, I've got all my banking apps, they all talk to each other and I manage it from one central app perhaps, and that's done seamlessly for me as the end customer. And I think that's what we're working towards. We've got that API, the kind of, many-to-many connectivity.
Absolutely.
And really working on that. And finally, we've got distributed ledger technology and blockchain and some of the features within that the Marco Polo network offer will allow you to I guess really help streamline the entire supply chain finance industry. So I guess moving forward, what are some of the key trends in trade digitalisation as we kind of look towards the next 12 months, and what are the priorities for you at Bank of America?
So when you look at the digitization and beyond, I think there will be a couple of themes that will, as a trade finance world, we will work on. First one will be further reduction of paper. Some products in trade finance, the traditional trade products like letters of credits, collections, they are still paper-based. And hopefully with the improvement of the legal framework, like the acceptance of e-bill of exchanges, e-drafts, then the digitization will spread its wings to more traditional trade products, which is something that the industry will be very pleased with together with our customers. I think the second thing is, with the development and improvement of the blockchain technology, can we start from an invoice and track down to a purchase order, our supplier. And when we can have this visibility, how can we use this information to make better decisions, including the ESG? Environmental element, social and governance element will be more visible when you have the full picture of the chain. And I think the last one will be seamless interaction. How can banks and we get the data directly from clients' ERP to get more efficient, more faster data to make more intelligent decisions?
Thank you very much, Baris. I think that's a really clear overview of where the industry is moving, why it's important, and we can really see some of those developments happening, and we'll continue to see those over the course of the next year or so.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.